Wow, it's been a while since actually having an opportunity to open the Bible and share a message from the Bible with you guys. So I figured like I needed to be noticed, so I picked the sweater that's going to fit the kids' program. I got 2 responses. I love it. I hate it. There was nothing in between. Probably the best one that I got was like, are you getting ready for Halloween? Like, I'm either really late or I'm really, really early for that one. But, I mean, here's the thing. If you don't take Halloween too seriously, it can actually be a pretty fun night. You know, you can pretty much kind of pretend to be whatever you desire to be. You can be a princess, you can be a pirate, you can be a fun parent for a change for some of the kids. But my favorite costume, I never did it. This is what I wanted to do. I never did it. I wanted to go out for Halloween night dressed as a pastor. No, but the real pastor, not this pastor, but real, like the suit and a tie and like that big Bible, you know, everything. And then collect candy for the hungry kids in Africa or something like that. And it was kind of mixed reviews on that idea. But it just seemed like a good opportunity to do something like that, because the next day I would just go back to being an ordinary pastor that I usually am, and that people can't really tell based on how I look like whether I'm a pastor or not. We had that moment back in the day. So Pastor Gordon and the late and great Jim Becker, if you guys remember him, they were here at the property, and somebody comes by from the city of Arvada. They want to talk to the pastor. And now I'm over there as well, and they immediately approach Jim Becker because he was dressed decently, and Gordon was dressed as his usual weekly work around the church. And now Jim is first confused, and then he tells, no, this is the pastor, you have to talk to him. And now Gordon is trying to convince this guy that he is a pastor, and this guy doesn't believe him that he is a pastor because he had his like dirty jeans and whatever, you know. Isn't it interesting how easy it is to be deceived by the outward appearance? And isn't it easy to present yourself however you want, wherever you are? If you just have a little bit of creativity and if you can read the room, you can present yourself in whatever way you want. Like, for example, Thanksgiving family dinner, a teenager walks in with headphones on. And the headphones are not plugged into anything. The cable just hangs. What's the message? What's the message? Don't talk to me. Like, just don't talk to me right now, right? For example, that kind of stuff. Now, the thing is that people look at us every single day. And we look at other people every single day, and we send and receive these unspoken messages through the way we present ourselves, through the way we appear. And essentially, the concept behind this is this. This is how I want you guys to see me. I really don't want you to see what is happening on the inside. The purpose of outward appearance is to make us presentable without us really revealing who we are on the inside. Does that make sense? We do that all the time. Hey, how are you doing? I'm fine. You know that answer, I'm fine. It's an answer like, I'm really not fine, but I really don't want to talk about it. So you have that cordial smile. Okay, good to see you, you know. And you walk away, and they walk away. This is the way that we are taught in our society, and not just in our society. This is like a humankind thing. We are taught that we need to protect ourselves from whatever is happening on the outside by misrepresenting ourselves in a way that is going to be protective for us, for our family, for whoever. But the bottom line, the biggest problem in there that happens is that very easily we lose ourselves in these images that we create about ourselves. Here's a great example. So, you guys saw actually all of you are on social media. I'm not even going to ask who is on social media. All of you are. You saw those filters for pictures. When you take a selfie, and it's gonna kind of put a filter on you, whatever you want to look fresh, you want to look tired, whatever you want to be, the filter is going to just go on top of your photo or your video and present you in a certain way. And that's been going on for like years now, nothing special about it. But what's interesting is like when you look at some people's social media profiles, you realize that that's all they've got there. Everything is filtered. Literally every single photo is filtered to present them in like the best possible way. And now us, Gen X and boomers, we are looking at these millennials using all of these filters, and we are laughing at them, how ridiculous that is, while we put the makeup on, and while we kind of make sure that our clothes fits properly, our body contours, so it's not really as visible, that our festive figure is kind of popping out, and so on. You will find this in the Bible as well. So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3, among other things, Peter is telling us this. He says, "Do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair and the putting on of gold jewelry or the clothing you wear." Obviously, filters existed ever since there was humankind. The type of a filter changed. Right now, you have a filter on your phone, so it's much easier. You don't have to waste time with braiding your hair, putting golden jewelry, doing the makeup, making sure that your shirt fits fine without buttons popping out. Nothing really changed from biblical times to now when it comes to this issue of us trying to represent ourselves in a certain way that does not necessarily represent us. And then Peter, the other part of the verse is also cool. So he says, or clothing you wear, but let your adorning be by the hidden person of your heart, of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. Now, God designed us in a way to be visual. But God also designed us in a way to be genuine, to be true to who we are. The first part of Peter's verse talks about this visual aspect of us, this superficial outward appearance that does the job. If you're at home, you're going to walk around in your briefs. If you're at your workspace, HR is going to have a lot of stuff to talk to you about if you do the same. So we are aware of these things, right? We are aware of proper behavior in different social contexts. But what we lose is this part over here. We forget that who we really are and what really counts is this hidden person of the heart. So let me ask you today, who is your hidden person of the heart? How many people know your hidden person of the heart? Do you even know a hidden person of the heart? A lot of people live on social media, a lot of them. And a lot of them identify themselves with the filtered version of who they are. And they forget this hidden person of the heart that really counts. Now, why is this important? Why is this such a big deal? And why do I choose to speak about this? Because what I've come to realize is that when you try to make friends, when you try to connect to people, very often you will never almost reach to this hidden person of the heart because we are so well taught to hide it, and we never create a lasting, meaningful connection with people around us just because all we focus is on the filtered version of us. And this is why this is a problem. This is why it's important to switch this mentality. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Now, you know this story. You're very familiar with this story. This is the story when God sends Samuel to pick a king. And God tells him, go there, and I'll show you who the next king is, who is going to take Saul's place. And Samuel shows up, and this is what he tells to the family of Jesse, who is David's father. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. Now, what does it mean to consecrate themselves? Let me ask you this. Let's see how old you guys are. Do you guys remember those times when a pastor would announce that he is going to visit your family in a few days? You guys remember that? Yeah, I see some immigrants remember. Americans, you long ago, you kind of gave up on that. But I remember when I started attending church, I was a teenager, but it was like a big deal when a pastor is about to visit. You know, I'm coming on Tuesday. First thing that happens is like everything gets cleaned up. Clean up your room, put your stuff away, take the socks off the nightstand. Come on. Everything needs to be cleaned up. Actually, now dress up. Don't pick your nose in front of the pastor. I'm going to kick you into Tuesday if you do that. And stuff like that. So your parents kind of have this whole lineup of what needs to happen so the house, the kids, and everything is the most presentable when the pastor walks in. And over here we kind of see the same. We see that, so Samuel even expects this. He says, consecrate yourselves, get ready for it, because I'll be coming to pay you a visit. So they clean, they're talking about ritual cleaning that is described in the Old Testament. They would clean themselves so they're ready to kind of meet the prophet and also meet God at the same time. But everything is cleaned up. Everything is nice. And now, verses 6 and 7. When they came, Samuel, the prophet, he looks at the sons of Jesse, who are aligned over there. And he says he looked at Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Like Samuel looks at Eliab, like, wow, this guy could be the king. Look at him. Like he's like from GQ magazine. This is perfect. And then Lord speaks to Samuel, an old, wise, experienced prophet who saw so many things. God needs to rebuke and correct Samuel. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees what? What does the Lord sees? Not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on heart. This is why heart maintenance is much more important than the face maintenance, my friends. Now, here's a personal question, not to answer, but answer it to yourself. This morning, did you spend more time on your heart maintenance or your face maintenance? It's very interesting over here to me, something else. Not the fact that we are the way we are. Not the fact that we look at the outward appearance and God looks at the heart, but something else. It's interesting to me that even Samuel fell for it. Even Samuel, the prophet of God, who had so much experience, so much knowledge, understanding of the way God thinks, works, and so on, he looks at Eliab, the oldest brother of David, and he's like, this is the dude. Like, I can see him with the crown and a wow, yeah. And God is like, no, dude, no. I rejected that guy. Now, all other sons start coming before Samuel. One after another comes next and next and next, and God is like, nope, 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 none of them. And now Samuel is like, what's going on? I run out of sons. So he comes to Jesse. Hey, listen, I really need another son. Do you have one more? You know, he's like, yeah, well, I have one more, the youngest one, but I didn't even bother to bring him over here. He's tending the sheep. He's a kid, you know. So Samuel said to Jesse, are all your sons here? And he said, there remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and get him, for we will not sit down till he comes here. Now what is interesting over here is like we don't see that David went through the process of consecration. I imagine him coming from like the fields. There's like hay all over him. His hands are dirty. He shows up. He still smells like sheep. And he shows up over there. The youngest one runs in. Now look at this. This is the irony. This is the deepest irony of this story. The deepest irony of this story. And he sent and brought him in. And he was ruddy and had beautiful eyes and was handsome. And the Lord said, "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." Now, why did God pick David? Jay is pointing at the heart, but that's not what the Bible says over here. The soul behind his eyes. Now we can play with this. Yeah. But the matter of fact over here, my friends, is this. This is the irony of the story. So, how is he described? Is he described by the hidden person of his heart that David has? No. He is described as ruddy. So he was like reddish, like Irish looking, I guess. He had beautiful eyes and he was handsome. Now, what is the difference between David and his oldest brother, Eliab? Because obviously Samuel was swayed by good looks of Eliab. Both of them got the looks, obviously. The interesting thing over here is that you're right. God says after that David is a man after my own heart, which is amazing. Amazing compliment you can't even dream of. But even God gives us, God understands us. He understands us better than we understand ourselves. And God understands that if I'm going to give them the king, this king better be like the one that is going to appeal, the one that is going to stand out, the one that is going to turn heads. And then David is described over here as the future king, as the one who is handsome with beautiful eyes. We can't get away from our nature, my dear friends. I am glad when I see you that all of you are nice and cleaned up with a beautiful face maintenance, come to church properly, except my sweater. Okay. Okay. That means that you respect this place. That means that you put an extra step and an extra effort to make sure that you're presentable before people and before God within the social setting that we are in. And that is important. That is very, very important. But that is not the most important thing. All of us have a favorite face that we like to present before this world. What is the face that you present when you are before God? And what is the face that you choose to share with the people that you really want to connect to? That you really want to create a living life experience with? Your family, your friends, your future forever after, present forever after. Do you show them the same face that you show before God, or you have another layer that is for those as well? David over here is described as beautiful. He proved himself to be a good king. He did have several mishaps and several slips, but God is gracious. God forgave him. The bottom line in the end was David's heart was what really connected him to God. But the appearance was there, was necessary, because that's the way we communicate with the world around us. The question is the priorities. What do you prioritize? How are you on the outside, or how are you on the inside? Because here's another thing. The first impression is important. You know how they say, love at first sight is best healed by the second sight, right? This applies to everything in life. The first impression is important when you're interviewing for a job, when you're trying to sign up people for your business, when whatever you're doing, when you're at a birthday party just trying to connect to people around you. But what maintains the connection is who you are on the inside. There are a lot of people who look amazingly on the outside, but that's all there is. That is all there is. Now, I was hoping the kids are going to be here by now, but apparently they're not, because I need them for the next part of my sermon. But okay, we are going to then let you guys vote, since kids are not here. But you already know what the answer would be. Let's put a next slide on the next slide. All right. So when you get your Christmas present, what do you favor? Which one do you like to have and keep more? Who saves the wrapper? Only that aunt cat lady, you know, that is going to use it somewhere sometime to wrap the backside of the nightstand or something like that. You know? But it's a very simple example. All of us are really tending a lot to the wrapping paper in our lives. But the gift is the one that counts. The gift is the one that matters. Because how long does the wrapping paper last? Until it's torn. Right? Yeah, there we go, yeah. It looks really nice for the photos, and then after that, the pandemonium of ripping it apart happens. That's a good point. Yes, yeah. Sometimes the best socks and briefs are wrapped in the most beautiful wrapping paper, right? You remember those Christmas gifts? When you get the socks and briefs? Like that, that's pretty much how things look like when the gift is not as it seemed it should have been. So, who are you? Are you the gift or are you the wrapper? Who are you? That's what I want to challenge you to think about. That's what I want to challenge you to focus at the end of this year as you guys are kind of sorting things out, getting ready for this coming end of the year and the new start. I want you to really think about what is more important in your life, the gift or the wrapper.